Hello, America, and good day to our friends around the world. This is a political talk show here on WRMN. That's WRMN 1410 on that AM dial that we love so very much. And, of course, WRMN1410.com, where you can head on over to the digital airwaves and sit down with us right here on the WRMN Studio 14. Thanks for being here. I love it when I see everybody hop in on YouTube as well. That's youtube.com. You can find us at WRMN Radio. And why I love it so very much is because it is one of my favorite days of the week. I hope it's one of yours too. It is, of course, the Apolitical Talk Show Free Speech Friday. And we have a full house, so much that I had to pull in extra microphones over here. So we've got plenty to talk about. And of course, we'll make sure we get a game in as well. We don't want to leave you guys out just feeling the gloom and doom of the news. We got to get some hope and some other things that are going on. So if you're politically minded, if you like to be calling yourself a wonk, and know what and understand that word right there, let's get a little wonky together. Today, let's introduce our Free Speech Friday panel. That, of course, is Dr. Robert Renteria. See, I practiced before I went. But Dr. Renteria transformed a challenging youth in East Los Angeles, marked by gang involvement and personal loss, into a successful business executive, author, and civic leader. After serving in the U.S. Army, happy Veterans Day to you as well, sir, he became a corporate VP and later founded the From the Barrio Foundation, publishing his memoir, From the Barrio to the Boardroom, and accompanying curricula to empower at-risk youth through education and self-esteem. His work spans lecturing in schools, churches, and international programs. You can find him at fromthebarrio.com. And a recent quote from him, which I pulled from that same place: "Don't let where you came from dictate who you are, but let it be a part of who you become." Also sitting on with us today is James M. Vaselli, an attorney and founding partner of Vaselli Law in Illinois, with more than 2 decades of experience in municipal law, land use, real estate, construction, and tax law. He acts as counsel to local governments, businesses, and individuals, blending legal expertise with community engagement and strategic advice. Find him at JMV Chicago. We've also got returning guests, and I would like to call them champions of the Apolitical Talk Show games. We've got Cecilia Brooks. Cecilia Ivana Brooks is a young conservative activist based in Elgin and Kane County, Illinois. At 24, she sought Elgin City Council seat and is even running for precinct committee person. Is that what it is there? Sure is. Find her at Cecilia Brooks on Instagram and all over Facebook. And we've got him here. You hear his voice here on Apolitical Talk Show often. And he's also got a show on the weekends. That's Fantasy Football Blitz. We've got David WT's. I'll let you guess what that is. A Republican political operative is what we've got written down here, and a candidate within Kane County, Illinois. Documented in filing, I'm sure, thousands upon thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of signatures throughout his life. Free Speech Friday panel, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having us here today.
Good to be back.
I'm going to have to turn you up, Cecilia, just so we can make sure you're there. There you are. That's your microphone.
Hello, everyone. Good to be back. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Dr. Robert, let's start with you first, just for some introductory side of it. Talk about your journey, because that's essentially your memoir, right? Is From the Barrio to the Boardroom. That's a journey right there. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it.
No, that's absolutely fine. I come from the barrio of East Los Angeles. I was born into poverty. My father was a heroin addict and alcoholic. He abandoned our family. He was only 3 years old and left my mother and I and my little sister with a pile of bills and a bunch of empty bottles of booze in the trash can.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My mother working 2-3 jobs to make sure we did not become part of a system. At the age of 6, I was in a terrible accident. I almost died. I had to go to a school for the physically disabled and mentally challenged because I could not walk, talk, or read or write. My mother remarries when I'm 9, and the nightmare starts all over again. She marries an abusive drunk, and he's beat up on my mother and beat up on me, and we could talk about that later. I got old enough, I ran away, and I found a new dysfunctional family called gangs. So I started running and gunning, stealing and dealing. My real father dies when I'm 19 on a halfway house on Skid Row. It's where the homeless people live. He died a heroin addict and alcoholic.
Wow.
I later on went out to make better choices. I went back to school, joined the military, honorably served our country for over 7 years as a non-commissioned officer and U.S. Army paratrooper. I came to Chicagoland in 1990 with $200 in a duffel bag. 6 years later, I was vice president of a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. I then later opened up my own business, and then God had another plan for me. I became an author, more of a messenger now, and my life did a 180. Fast forward 2 decades later, we're in over 25 countries around the world.
Wow.
And so now I'm putting my head into the political ring because you can't be part of the solution unless you're part of the process. So I want to change the narrative for not only our children for public safety and education, but for the entire state of Illinois.
How has your experiences from seeing it on the outside and the inside kind of helped you communicate politically and even through your book?
Well, what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, having me more actively involved just the last couple of years of getting to know people like David and others and Cecilia, is that I'm seeing that there's people lying on both sides. So politics for me is more like dirty diapers. And I'm not saying there's not good people in politics, but they both need a lot of work on both sides. So if I could help put this as more maybe one nation under God and bring people together, because I know we have good people on both sides. They're not all bad. The Republicans aren't evil and the Democrats are not all evil, but we have to sit there and break bread, right? And have these conversations to build bridges. So if we can break bread, then we can go red. So that's my goal, to help to teach the party that we have to be both missional and relational for us to win elections.
I absolutely understand that. Welcome to the show. Really appreciate you being here. And let's expand that a little bit, panel, about that. That seems to be a running theme for most people, is incumbency first, because we hear a lot about putting together term limits or kind of forcibly moving people out. And then we also hear more about we're not all radical. Right? Is this more of a internet type of thing, or are we seeing the internet kind of emulate real life, or the other way around? I will go with our youngest, I suppose, because she's the only one that's only understood the internet from that side. So how do you see the way that we discuss things, real life versus on the internet side of it? Is it the internet forces us to change real life, or is real life affecting the way that we talk the other direction? We'll go Cecilia on that.
Yeah, so I would say that the way that people converse in real life versus online, especially when it's pertaining to the political atmosphere, I think people are emboldened, unfortunately, more so online than they would in person. So that violent rhetoric I have seen be a lot more prevalent online and in those social media bases rather than things that people wouldn't say in person. And I think that's got to change.
Jimmy, is that people letting off steam, or is this one of those things of this is how they really feel? Or is it just kind of a mix between that?
I think it's a mix between the two. I think that there is some invisible man syndrome where you're hiding behind a keyboard and you could get a little bit emboldened. I think that there is some cathartic letting off steam, but I also think that the internet has become a hot, rather than an expansion, and I'm sure I'd love to hear the doctor's take on this at some point, but you have to go outside of your minor circle and go and get more ideas from more people rather than have an echo chamber. But when you only follow the same 3 people and you only listen to the same people who tell you all your ideas are good, it becomes a lot easier just to point fingers and yell at the other side. And I don't know how else to say this, but wave your fist in rage at God, right? And so, no, I think it is some letting off steam. I think it is kind of the invisibility behind a keyboard. And I think it's the echo chamber that just kind of ramps people up when they want to lay off more steam and everything like that.
David, we never talk about like who is letting off steam or who is making all of these. The only thing we divide everybody from is left or right, but we still see the animosity from everything. We're not talking about class. We're not talking about work structure. We're not even talking about ideologies necessarily. A lot of times it's just everybody's mad about stuff. Why isn't that the unification that we have? Is our anger directed at a different direction? Do we keep forgetting who we're supposed to be angry at? So the easiest target is the other side. What's the, I would imagine that everybody being angry and everybody having the same feeling of the establishment, that would be more unifying than it is divisive.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, like with the internet, it's like our mom and dad now. Mom would tell you, hey, if you get done eating, you got to wait 45 minutes to swim. And dad says, hey, just jump in the pool. I mean, it's like, that's what it is. We got a class of people that are trying to make people angry, and we got a class of people that are trying to make people not see the real issues. And like Jimmy said, people are hiding behind the internet. It's like the shadow guy in the background there, you know?
Yep.
And we have yet begun to watch the downfall of the internet when AI starts really manipulating it and taking over, because that's the scary part I'm seeing with the internet. Internet took us away from society, and I think AI is going to manipulate it even worse.
Dr. Renteria, you've been in so many different rooms of people, different conversations, people with different backgrounds, business, the streets, all different kinds of intelligence levels and different things like that. Are you starting to see similarities in communication as well, or similarities in kind of grumbling, or just similarities of these things need to be fixed? Is that what's kind of helping you drive into politics?
Well, no, the politics for me is about wanting to fix the problems that exist. So I'm more of a problem-solving solver. I was in the military for over 7 years, as mentioned. And the problem-solving process is, number one, recognize the problem, two, find a solution, three, take action. And that's how I built my program internationally, and that's what I want to do for the politics end of here in Illinois and across the United States. I think there's a lack of communication skills. People don't want to communicate. I mean, take it via your cell phone, right? You'll get people to text you, but they won't call you. You know, so they won't communicate with you. So, and the same thing with the kids, they're not communicating. When a parent tells me that their kid is upstairs, texting their mom downstairs, say, hey, I'm hungry, make me dinner. So instead of going down and just talking to the mother. So we have to meet face to face. I believe in having the dialogue. So you can't read somebody over a cell phone necessarily on a text or on an email, but you can read them if you're looking them in their eyes. So I'm a real big believer that we need to sit down and break bread.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we're doing today here on Apolitical Talk Show. It's Free Speech Friday. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Dr. Robert Rentiera. I'm sorry, Doc. I'm going to mess it up every single time. And we've got Cecilia Brooks. We've also got James Vaselli, Esquire, and David Tees. We'll be all back with you right after this.
Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
To Apolitical Talk Show here on WRMN. You guessed what I was going to say next. WRMN 1410. The AM dial is where you can get it. We've got 4 numbers. We don't need those dot whatevers out there. 1410 AM dial. Super simple. Been broadcasting there since 1949. That is, by my math, my on-the-air math, 76 years. Right here in the downtown area in Elgin, the longest running station here in the area. Just, got to flex a little bit here for WRMN. I've got a few great friends here for Free Speech Friday. Let's introduce them again. We've got Dr. Robert Renteria. Dr. Robert Renteria transformed a challenging youth in East Los Angeles marked by gang involvement and personal loss into a successful business executive, author, and civic leader. He is now running to be lieutenant governor with Sheriff James Mendrick, and is running in the primary. But you need to read some of his books, so head on over to From the Barrio, BARRIO, for those English speakers.com is the best place to go. We've got Cecilia Brooks always here for the Kane County GOP and a few other places. You're running for something as well, madam?
I am running for precinct committeeman in EL 17 of Elgin Township.
Well, good luck to both of you.
Thank you very much.
We've also got David Tees sitting over here. He has probably gotten, I gotta say, hundreds of thousands of signatures.
Yeah, not
easily.
that much, but yeah, you're overshooting me on that one.
You're close. You're real close. I know it is.
He's a modest man.
Absolutely. I know you've got at least hundreds of thousands of steps getting signatures.
Yes, that I do have. There's a lot of work.
For sure.
And Doc knows that. It's a lot of work. Yeah.
And then we've got Jimmy Vaselli from JMVChicagoLaw.com and Vaselli Law sticking here with us as well. You don't have as many steps since you're down here in downtown with us to just come into the studio.
Much easier, and I like it that way.
Fantastic. So we're going to get a little schoolhouse rock today because we've got the full panel in here. And when we come back, we will talk with Dr. Robert in his books. And so what I want to talk about is we've got two important bills that I guess is important to the mainstream media and everything else. We all know here at this table that kitchen table politics are the ones that really matter. Inflation or cost of goods or job numbers, which I don't know why we haven't seen those. We'll figure those out later. But what I want to talk about is the process that we've got. We've had over and over again Congresses that will not do anything, whether it is, well, we're not going to put a vote to it, or the filibuster stops it, or so we get a lot of executive orders, we got a lot of emergency things, and even then we get shutdowns, or at least threats of shutdowns almost every 4 months, I think on average is happening right now. So I want to talk about the two biggest issues that are going through our Congress right now, the healthcare subsidies that has only been promised a vote in the Senate, nothing else, just a vote in the Senate. So good job, art of the deal, I suppose. Then we've also got the Epstein file release as well. So I want to talk about the likelihood of either one of those walking through this Congress and even getting to the veto process. So, Cecilia, I think we'll start with you first. What do you pick either one of them? What do you think the likelihood is of it even passing whatever house it lives in? So I think right now the Epstein side lives in the House and the healthcare lives in the Senate. So what's the likelihood of either one of those getting out of their bicameral? I think I'm gonna start flexing words if I can, but bicameral Congress that we have here.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start Epstein files,
Okay.
and I would love personally to see the Epstein files get through. I want to say the House. No,
It's
the
the
House
House.
first. Yes, get through the House first, and then with the bicameral legislation, because I think that is of the utmost importance to the American people. The American people want transparency, and they want it now. I do think that we might see the potential of political games being played prior to that getting passage through both the House and the Senate. But hopes is that it will, with mounting pressure from the outside, the public body, and different NGOs, that they will get through the first step.
We're looking at the Senate that has to kind of kick the can for the healthcare side to a committee first. That's where it's sitting at. I think the House is bringing the Epstein stuff directly to the floor, and then it'll move wherever it needs to. But Senate right now, it's got to at least go through that committee, and then the committee has to bring it in. They've promised a December vote, Mr. Vasselli. Do you think they'll make that December vote?
No, I do not think that they will. I think that it will be delayed. I mean, government has shown itself to be a delaying force at this point in time. I have no faith or confidence that it will be. I could be wrong. I think these things need to come to a head. I think they're better when they come to a head. I think a no is always better than a long maybe. Either no or yes is better than the long maybe. But I do not think so.
Dr. Renteria, one of the things that we see in Congress is that we don't see a lot of votes. We see a lot of big things that just kind of meander through our Congress. Do you think it is better for us to do more single issue votes or continue to do this amoebus type of large, big, beautiful bills, if you will?
Well, I think we need to have the confidence of the people first. We don't believe anymore. There's so much distrust, and people are lying. I've learned that in the last couple of months in running for lieutenant governor, that people are lying across the table. So I think we have to build the trust first and inspire them that we are going to be champions of change, so that they will want to vote. So right now, people are just sitting on the sidelines watching the game. They're not engaging.
Do you build that trust by them working a little bit more and passing more things, or do you build that trust by kicking out bad apples?
Well, I think that going back when Donald Trump ran for office and he says we have to drain the swamp, and that built a lot of confidence. And then when he took a piercing bullet during the election, instead of getting carried out on a stretcher, he stood up and said, "Let's fight." So he inspired, in my world, over 20 million voters, Hispanics, to vote for him. And I was asked why didn't it trickle down here locally. It's because nobody knows who you are. So to my point earlier, we have to be involved with the community to build their confidence so that they will vote.
I think it's the marketing aspect of it too. We never know the good things that anybody does for us either. I think that was part of Biden's issue as well. I don't think there was any kind of marketing of anything good. Trump is the exact epitome of that too. Nobody talks about anything good that he does. Now, I'm one of those people that think that he's the firefighter arsonist. I think he likes to create something, fix it, and then hooray, I put the fire out. Well, you're the guy with the matches in your pocket sometimes. So, but I think at the end of the day, it overshadows anything that would even be good for anything. Let's go to you, Dave, for this one as well. Do you think that if they did get through their respected houses, what is the likelihood that the other house agrees with them?
Well, they're both each taking a topic. So
yes.
The Senate's got the healthcare, and Congress has the Epstein file. And like everybody has said here with the Epstein files, it's going to be delayed. They're going to want to see how the people react. They want to hear what the voices are saying, like the doc says. And then they'll probably start doing their decisions. And that's why it's going to probably be delayed, because we want to know what the American public wants to know, but they're still not going to care. So that's just going to take a long time. And with the Senate doing what they are, I think that's probably going to get passed faster and come up with the resolution. I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of work to do with that health care bill, more than what we can ever imagine. So I'll agree with Jimmy. It's not going to pass this year. I think it will be a January decision after Christmas. We all relax and have a little bit of Christmas and family time.
And Jimmy, they have the 1-year extension already prepared. Why don't they just push that through?
Well, welcome to government, right? I mean, that's what we do. We make extensions and then we extend the extensions. And I just think that I don't have a lot of faith in it. And it's sad. I really liked Schoolhouse Rock growing up, and it was fun when it was just a bill, but now it's a bill and it's going to be very long and it's going to be William by the time it's done. It's just, it's going to take a lot more time.
Let's just walk through the healthcare side of it, right? The Democrats shut down the government. I'll call it Schumer shut down all day, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what ended up happening with it. What did they get? Somebody could tell me what they actually got for anything good? Okay, terrible, terrible stuff. But they've got to get through this. All they've got out of it is the promise for the vote. That's it, the vote in the Senate. So miraculously, maybe it passes the Senate. It gets past the 60 votes. It's got to go through filibuster. French is not my specialty. I believe it's couture or something along those lines, where they have to end the debate. But they get through that. It goes over to the House. The House then has to even bring it to the floor. Mike Johnson is going to bring a Democrat bill that passed in the Senate over to a Republican-controlled House. Okay, let's say he does. Let's say he's like, you know what? Let's just take the vote. Even though it's going to make everybody on my side look terrible for voting against it, let's just bring it to the floor. It passes. Now it gets to the president. The president, who has already said, I'm not going to sign this thing because, first off, it was under duress or whatever other side that he wants to do. Is this another pie in the sky Democrat dream that on paper seems legitimate, but at the end of the day, it won't end up happening? Cecilia, you got anything on that?
I do. I think that, unfortunately, the Democrats, while they are good at branding in some areas, and I do see a lot of their overpromising and underfulfilling, which is lately that's been a track record for them. And I can see that they've given a lot of their base a false sense of hope. But now, as you mentioned, with the Schumer shutdown, they really, all of those months and all of those weeks that went by, and really what do they have to show for it? Unfortunately, nothing, a promise of a potential promise.
David, this is it. The only way to punish liars in politics is to vote them out. Mm-hmm. Why don't we vote these people out? Why do they keep winning all the time?
Strategy, being that good.
Name recognition.
Name recognition. Lying.
They're so good at lying that they just can't leave.
I'm going to be a better person. Trust me. I'm in a dark place, but I'm going to be a better person next time for the voters. And they go right back to where they're at again. So that's what it is. And sometimes we believe them.
Dr. Renteria, what about term limits? Is that the solution? Is that the silver bullet?
I think that's one of the solutions. Mm-hmm. And to your point about the healthcare thing, I think that nobody's talking about the elephant in the room, that America is a business. So they're, in my opinion, being a business guy, is look at how we're going to carve up the pie before we make decisions.
Fair enough.
Because you're dealing with Big Pharma, and you're going to tell me that Big Pharma has a pill for every ailment but can find a cure. So let's talk about that a little bit. This is the corruption is big and it's widespread. So back to the Epstein piece. I mean, there's a lot of good people who go down, and it's about money and power and greed. So America is a business at the end of the day, and if we fix something, people lose jobs. So let's put Band-Aids on bullet wounds and call it a good day. So my hope is that I can bring common sense back to the state of Illinois and follow the example of Donald Trump and saying, listen, no more men and women's sports, and bring common sense to the table.
Absolutely. We got to make sure that we bring common sense to the table for a lot of different issues, whether it is inflation or any of the other social issues that we've got for things. I think a lot of what people are talking about, at least as far as the Epstein or anything else goes, is transparency. We've had so many different times transparency to get something together, and is that just something that's just riddled in government in general? I mean, to take it back to our resident lawyer here, for Freedom of Information Act, wasn't that supposed to be the open glass house that the government was supposed to operate in, or did they start boarding up windows?
It is in an ideal world, the Freedom of Information Act and the Open Meetings Act in the state of Illinois, for example, and its federal counterparts and other state counterparts, is supposed to be, sunshine is the greatest disinfectant. Mm-hmm. it is supposed to be one of those vehicles that we get the transparency. But not only does that get strategized, where people send out Freedom of Information Acts to tax and burden government, but it also becomes something where bots get involved, and recent legislation would stop or hinder the use of that. And so it becomes all political strategy at one point in time. So while transparency is what we strive for, and transparency is the ideal, there are so many steps between what goes on behind closed doors and what we do day to day, and most importantly, what affects the people around the kitchen table, that we really need to find a better way.
I think so. It's not necessarily about transparency if you're not doing the right thing anyway. Like I could be out in the open doing bad things all the time, but if you're not stopping me from doing those things, then what good is knowing about them, right?
Illinois failed. They had the opportunity, and I'm sorry if
Go ahead,
no. But Illinois failed when they changed the laws with regards to public disclosure. Everyone up here, other than me, has filed a statement of economic interest. And they really pry into what your assets are, what your holdings are, and everything like that. And so you have people who are on library boards, on school boards, being like, I'm not going to give up my pension number because of that. And let's just use that as an example that's not necessarily on all fours, but give out this information because the one apartment building they have, that all of the retirement savings in there. And they will not serve because of that disclosure. In lieu of taking more transparent steps, more open steps to stop corruption, they're like, hey, school board member who wants to volunteer your time, fill out this one form that nobody's going to check up on and go there. You have to have a will to make change. And there is no will to make change at this point in time because it's a business, and the business will be hurt if you make the change. That's my 2 cents.
Dr. Robert, you're nodding on that one.
100%. That's what I was saying. America's a business, right? So let's not fix the problem. People are making money. Let's call it the end of the day. I've seen politicians who go into office, and we'll use one who was a bartender who go nameless, who years later now has multi-millions of dollars in a bank account. You're going to tell me that that's transparency? It's not transparency.
Well, he's right, because I think with the Senate bill with the health care is going to be nothing but lobbyists and big pharma and everybody dumping money into these guys' pockets to get what they want. And I think they're going to drag it out long until they, make the well dry.
Cecilia, at what point is it not profitable to lobby? Like, at the end of the day, it is a business, right? And with this transparency, whether it is from the government or it's from some third party or some hacker that just wants to leak out information, eventually we're going to know how much money people are spending to kind of sway bills or anything else that's in there. At what point is the Rubicon of like, well, what if instead of fighting for minimum wage being raised, why don't we just pay our employees this $10 billion we were going to use for lobbying? Like, where's the switch on this?
Right. I think that it occurs actually, I think we're getting there. I think this all happens and this switch happens when the complete and total mistrust of I guess, lobbying, lobbyists and lobbying as an entirety. I think as soon as the American public understands and has that transparency, whether it's how much of it is going on or how many dollars are being spent in certain industries within the government, when the public finally understands, because I do think we're getting to that point where you're saying, okay, well, how much do I really believe in XYZ, whether it's a senator or whomever elected official it is? How much do we really believe in this person? Because I know that this elected official is not serving me. They're serving this big corporation that has poured millions of dollars into their reelection campaign fund. And the more people are realizing that, which we're getting to, the less they're going to trust and have faith, like Mr. Vasselli has said, in the government itself.
Does that start with elected leaders changing? People like the good doctor coming in and running, already building a great business, already having a great background, adding that into it, not a career politician, but a career citizen. Is this the change?
Well, I think accountability is key, We have to hold people accountable. I mean, the educational system, as an example, is flawed. 96 to 100% of the schools are graduating their kids with the 6th, 7th, 8th grade reading and mathematical proficiency. So we need to hold the schools to a higher standard. And if they don't meet those standards, then people are going to lose their jobs and they're not going to get their funding, because we're putting kids out unprepared into the world who are going to fail.
45% proficiency rate in our school districts throughout the state of Illinois.
Well, and to not just get it a larger subject off of this, because, I mean, we can talk about Leave No Child Behind and the precedent that set for everything. But is, at the end of the day, all of these issues, is it all about the incumbency? Is it all about draining the swamp, like you said, Doctor?
I think a big part of it is. And I think the accountability piece, and in teaching the politicians a word that I learned when I was in the military called character. Teaching them that character is not just doing what's right when somebody's watching you, but doing the right thing when nobody's watching you.
Absolutely. Integrity all day is what we need to bring it back. And I think bringing people in that aren't beholden to a corporation or aren't beholden to a lobby or aren't at a position where I'm running because I am a mogul of this other side. You don't necessarily have to lobby from a lobbyist. You could be the lobbyist for things. So I think that's a lot of what's happening is we've turned it into a business. We've turned it into a career politician. Used to be a bad name, and now it is, would you like a career in politics? Is the starting point now. So it's always a pleasure with talking with the Free Speech Friday panel over here. We've got two gentlemen that are going to be leaving us. That would be Mr. David Tees. He is a local leader here for the Kane County GOP, and also that signature gopher all around the area. And then also we've got James Vaselli sitting here with us as well. JMV Chicago Law is the best place to go. And then you have a couple of blogs that are sitting out there too. Could you drop those real quick?
Sure, it is. The biggest one is on our website. It is JMV Chicago Law, and it has the news. Please follow it. We try to keep people up to date on changes in Illinois law and general changes in policy issues.
Dr. Robert Renteria, who is running for Lieutenant Governor with Sheriff James Mendrick, is going to be sticking around with us, along with Cecilia Brooks, also part of the Kane County GOP, who is running for precinct committee person. We've got two people that just got their signatures in last week, so let's talk to them.
Yeah.
Friends around the world. This is a political talk show here on WRMN. That's WRMN 1410 on your favorite AM radio station. And it is WRMN 1410 on your favorite browser, right? You just go up to the search thing right up there. You don't need the wwws anymore, but I mean, some people still put them in if you are classically trained on the internet. We see you over there on the YouTube side as well. Thanks, Mike, for letting me know that I needed to get my white balance. I looked like I had jaundice, and the walls did too. So it is good to be back on track. It is still Free Speech Friday. We've got our Free Speech Friday panel sitting around with us here. Let's go ahead and introduce them. We've got Dr. Robert Renteria. Dr. Robert Renteria transformed a challenging youth in East Los Angeles, marked by gang involvement and personal loss, into a successful business executive, author, and civic leader. He is running for Lieutenant Governor for the great state of Illinois with Sheriff James Mendrick. You can find more at MendrickForGovernor2026.com. Recent quote from Dr. Renteria's website, from thebarrio.com. Don't let where you came from dictate who you are, but let it be part of who you become. We've also got Cecilia Brooks sitting here with us as well. That is Cecilia Ivana Brooks, a young conservative activist based in Elgin within Kane County. At age 27, she sought election in the Elgin City Council. She's seeking election right now for precinct committee person for Elgin's 17th district. Her platform emphasizes youth empowerment, revitalization of downtown businesses, tax containment, and streamlined government. Find more at Cecilia Brooks on Instagram. Your Facebook page is still up too, right? Cecilia Brooks for the council. Okay, we'll get to that too. We've also got we've got David Tees sitting here over there. I almost gave you an honorary there, sir.
I was looking for that.
David W. Tees, we'll let everybody guess what that W means, is a Republican political operative and candidate within Kane County, Illinois. And he is been documented as you've also run for precinct committee person before, right?
Yes.
But you took your stuff back.
No,
You're
actually,
still
no.
running?
I'm still running. I'm on the ballot, so I
Still
will
on
be
the ballot.
re-upping as a PC. Yep.
For 16th precinct, right?
Yep.
That's it. He's also got his stuff in it, in the signatures as well. Tees appears involved in local campaign sign monitoring and precinct level party operations. That's what he does all throughout. Thank you all for being here with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, love to be here on a Friday.
It's a happy Friday.
Free Speech Friday is great. Since you're all running or have run or anything like that, let's talk a little bit about that first. Let's talk about entry into being a candidate. We talked with Jimmy Vaselli before he had to take off. But we talked about entry into candidacy, where because of FOIA and a couple of other things, you've got to actually kind of open up your personal life to actually run for anything. Was there, I don't want to necessarily get into specifics, but was there a little bit of fear for any of that, of going like, well, maybe there's something I don't even know that's out there in the world? Was there some kind of apprehension for throwing your name into the ring for all of the transparency? Cecilia, I'll go with you. You came from the internet age, so I'm sure your first baby pictures were on MySpace somewhere.
Don't look too hard for them. Yeah, absolutely there was. So, I mean, granted, when I did run and decide to get into just politics in general, I was 18. And when I first ran for Elgin City Council, the first office I've ever run for, I was 24. And at that time, it did occur to me, actually, keep in mind, I graduated high school then 6 years prior to me running. So there's still a ton of people in this area, in just the social media realm, even here in Illinois, where, keep in mind, I'm not going to put it all out there right now, but if I was asked about it, I'd be straight up and honest as always. And there's definitely eras, that we'll call them, that I have gone through in my teenage years, my post-teenage, and even my early 20s. And there's definitely things that will one day, I'm sure, be public. And I made a joke back in the spring, if on a record, things like, did you inhale? Yes, I did. It's not a secret, and I enjoyed every second of it. So keep it real as always, right?
They'll find it out there, I'm sure. Dr. R, what about you with your whole background of being in so many different places in your life? Was there a little bit of apprehension of opening up your personal life to the public before you decided to run?
Well, you got to go back to 2008 when I released my first book called From the Barrio to the Boardroom. It's an autobiography. So I literally laid myself out there naked for the world to see, to serve a higher purpose. So those who may want to attack me, I tell them, listen, if you know how to read my book. And if you don't know how to read, I have an audio book. And if you can't afford the book, I'll send you an autographed copy. So the answer, initially in 2008, I was scared because I went from being very private to being in a fishbowl. So now if somebody wants to come after me, I said, just read the book.
There's plenty of ammunition in there.
It's all there. Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
You know, yeah, it's a little scary when you're going to put yourself out there, but I live a boring life. So if you want to look me up, it's really not much there. It's just Facebook is maybe me talking what I'm doing, plumbing or cooking and all of that stuff. But I'll tell you what, jumping into politics, I think is more scarier than skydiving for the first time, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of people, but I enjoyed the journey. I'm enjoying the journey of everybody I met along the way and get to know her, get to know Doc here, amazing people. And I have more numbers on my phone than I ever had.
Yeah. If anything, it's a good friendship and fellowship for everybody else that enjoys politics.
I went from 5 to 5,000. So.
And you got all their signatures, you got where they live, for everything that's there. So does having to open up your personal life, do you think that deters people from running? Because there are a lot of good candidates that are out there that may have a misdemeanor or two that are on something.
We all do
this.
We all have stuff in our closet. That's why I tell people, go ahead and read the book. I grew up a very dysfunctional lifestyle. I quit school. I was involved in gangs, sold drugs. I did a lot of bad things.
Is it more about who you are now as a person for a candidacy versus where you've been?
Well, what I learned, I mentioned to you that the two greatest days in your life are the day you're born and the day you realize why you're born. So to help mold and develop the man I am today, to connect with people of all levels, if I had not gone through those experiences, how could I know what people are going through? Tonight, do I buy gas for my car? Do I buy milk for my baby? Been there, done that. I've lost everything. So I know what it's like to get wiped out and not knowing how you're going to pay your mortgage or your car payment. So I'm with the average everyday American, blue collar. I mean, I can be literally tonight talking to people doing 25 to life, and I've done that because I'm in all the Illinois state prisons, the state of Illinois, and tomorrow I could be talking to the CEO of McDonald's and everybody in between. So it connects with people at all levels. So I'm fine with the whole thing now. But I think that in the political space, people like to eat each other. They're cannibals. They're not trying to lift each other up. They're trying to tear you down. So that's the ugly part about that I don't like. Instead of me trying to lend a hand and extend the olive branch to help Cecilia, I want to find ways to hurt Cecilia. And that's what I'm seeing out there that I don't like.
And Cecilia, to Dr. R's point on this, you have to get past the party first. I mean, unless you run as an independent and you throw every single dollar that you have into your own stuff or anything else, you have to get past the party first. They're going to vet you, maybe not necessarily harder than the constituency will, but they're definitely going to do some sort of background and vibe check for everything with this. How do you get past the party to get into a election? I guess not necessarily past, right? I don't want to necessarily look at them as an adversarial side. Maybe.
I would say I would also like to look at them not as an adversarial side, but unfortunately, you're correct in doing so, because I have seen, unfortunately, more often than not, our own party, that's all that I can speak to at least, for the Republican Party eating their own. And I've also experienced myself certain township chairmen and that have actually discouraged certain candidates, including myself at some points, or tried to, from running in certain offices. So rather than leadership within our party lifting up new people, whether they're candidates or even just volunteers or somebody who wants to get involved, I see more often than not those same leadership tearing other people down, trying to discourage them or inhibit them from entering politics, for whether it's for a reason of an egocentric or whether it's for personal gain or power or even just being threatened. I see that more often than not, and it is unfortunate.
For a candidate that wants to have change for anything, David, is it more of going against individuals that have control, or is it more of a groupthink type of thing where it's I've got to get past, I want change, but the party is maybe not where it is? Is it more of a one-on-one type of a counterpoint for argumentative or debate? Or is it more of a, hey, I got to pull this group of people to kind of think a little bit more before a candidate that maybe doesn't fit the mold so much?
Well, in both sides, Democrats and Republicans, there's in-house fighting,
Absolutely.
there's backstabbing. If you are just a regular PC, nobody really cares. But man, when you become the chair, watch out, because they're all gunning after you. They're going to like what you do and not like what you do. And then next month, they both flip, But as Cecilia says, we are divided, and there's a lot of fighting in-house. Like she said, dog eating dog. We're eating our own. If they would spend more time, as much time as they're doing, taking out their own people, instead of going out there and campaigning for candidates, we would win more elections. But it seems like we are too busy and putting too much effort into removing people from office. I mean, we got people right now going in our own party challenging people's petitions and going through them and nitpicking them. I'm sure you're being looked at, and that's what happened with me. But and it happens to a lot of candidates. It happened to Donald Puckett. I mean, it was the other side that was doing it. But right now, I'm seeing on our side it happening to us.
Right.
But they're also doing it on the other side too. So it goes both ways. They're attacking us, we're attacking them, but we're also attacking our own selves, and that's where it's got to stop.
Absolutely. When we come back, we are going to be talking with the Free Speech Friday panel. That, of course, is David Tease, Cecilia Brooks, and Dr. Renteria. When we come back, we've got more Apolitical Talk Show coming up. The book called DUI Jury Trial, which is the true story of a truck driver in Illinois who was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. Not only was he facing a revocation of his driver's license, but also a lifetime disqualification of his CDL, which would prevent him from ever driving a semi-truck again. This book includes backstories of the truck driver, the lawyers that defended the case, and the DUI expert witness who analyzed the case and then testified at trial as to the proper protocol procedures of the field sobriety tests as well as the breathalyzer test. This nonfiction novel also includes the actual court transcript from the jury trial, a courtroom showdown in which the final verdict would determine the fate of the defendant's livelihood. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-509-TERM. 866-509-TERM. 866-509-TERM.
Chicago defense attorney Mark Schieblo has co-authored the book titled DUI Jury Trial, which is a true story of a DUI case that he defended. The accused was an Illinois truck driver arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. This book contains facts about the case from the date of the arrest up to the jury's verdict, and this nonfiction novel also includes the transcripts from the jury trial itself. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Back to Apolitical Talk Show here on WRMN. We got the Free Speech Friday panel sticking around with us. It's fantastic. But like we always like to do, the newest member, we want to shine a highlight on them. That, of course, the newest member of the Free Speech Friday panel is Dr. Robert Renteria. Thank you very much for being here, Doctor.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I always appreciate new voices coming into the show, because we get to showcase a different worldview. We get to showcase, like you had talked about, different world experiences. We're all a summation of every choice that's ever been made by us or the other people that came before us. But at the end of the day, it's what choices do we make that really define our character for it. In your books, your memoir, and even your educational programs, you emphasize identity reconstruction with the at-risk youth. How do you reconcile tensions in systemic disadvantage that people experience every day with that individual responsibility to kind of pull them in together into like a yin and yang type of side?
Well, the book itself, From the Borrower to the Boardroom, has a lot of life skills lessons. There's a lot of advice. It's not preachy, but it's showing you how to get from point A to point B. So the curriculum in the books were written around what's called conflict resolution, critical thinking. So when a kid gets in trouble and you say, what were you thinking? The kid wasn't thinking, or they would not have done that. So what we're trying to do is provoke thought, to realize there's consequences for your actions. So this is about teaching kids how to make a way out of no way, and that they're not alone, and that if you work hard, I've heard this said before, if you do it easy, it's going to be hard. If you do it hard, it'll be easy. So it's about hard work, determination, education. So not to compromise your values. I got offered a lot of money right when COVID hit in 2020 by a big company that sells alcohol. And they wanted to write me a big check to put their bottle on the back of my book talking about responsible drinking. And I said, well, you don't know Latinos, first of all, we're not responsible drinkers. And my father died of heroin as an alcoholic, so I didn't compromise the brand. So I try to teach people you can't make a deal with the devil to be a star in hell. So there's no compromising. So there's a lot of life lessons here. There's teaching people how to overcome what's called seemingly impossible obstacles.
And you are a Army veteran as well.
Yes.
How did the Army and the military kind of instill that integrity, or did you find it while you were there?
Well, I tell people that the Army literally changed and saved my life. And, you know, I come from a neighborhood that was all Latino. And then we went into the military with all these multicultural races, black, whatever, white, brown, Asian, that we were all in one big gang. We were Army Green. So instead of trying to kill each other like it was when I was growing up, we were all fighting to protect each other. So I learned about camaraderie and teamwork. And that's what gave me the building blocks of understanding that we're in this together. And that's what I'm trying to bring to the party, is understand that we have to be this and together if we're going to win. We can't be united, we stand, divided, we will fall.
Absolutely. And is that what is the core around your books and your message, is that it's individual responsibility, because we have to be strong enough for the responsibility that we have for the community. Starts with us, clean us up, make sure we're acceptable to contribute for that. I mean, the way I look at it is love thy neighbor as thyself is an equation. And if you don't love yourself, then you're going to love your neighbor as yourself. And if you don't have that identity that you talk about in this, and you just don't have the will to be better, you just are reactionary or anything, I think that helps the community too by strengthening the individual. Is that the message that you have here?
Absolutely. And to the word love, right? I tell people all the time, we have to learn how to love each other and take care of each other, because that's how the foundation of this world was built. And if we build on that foundation, then we can be a champion of this place that we call home, to take care of our families, our neighbors, our community, our great city, and then beyond. So we have to love thy neighbor, absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about your books, because I've got 3 of them sitting right here. We can find them all at fromthebarrio.com. And talk us through the different levels, because you've got your memoir and then you've got some of the educational material too. Did you brand this so that it's reachable to different education levels and just different people in general? What was your thinking behind this?
Well, let me give you the Reader's Digest version. So the book here, From the Barrio to the Boardroom, is used mostly middle school and up, people older than us. Like I mentioned earlier, we're in all the Illinois state prisons across the state, all 28 of them. So, but this is for middle schools and high schools. The books are in English and Spanish and digital. And that book right there comes with a curriculum, all right, that addresses critical thinking, as I mentioned, and it aligns with the Illinois State Learning Standards. And that curriculum, by the way, and I'm the only person in the United States that I understand who does this, is we donate that curriculum at no cost to all schools across the country.
Wow.
Because of the funding cuts in 2018, they took $2.5 billion away from after-school programs. So there's a dire need for culturally relevant programming. So this is middle school and up. So you may or may not know this, but the gang recruitment happens starting in the 3rd grade. So I had an idea to cut the umbilical cord to the gang recruitment. So I released a high-end graphic novel called Mi Barrio, My Hood. And it's also English and Spanish and digital. And this book came out screaming. It was voted the best graphic novel in Latin America, Spain, and the United States of America addressing youth issues, the #1 book in the country at that time. So then I got a call from churches. The churches got a hold of me, and they say, hey, we see the kids in the hood with your book, but we want to get them in the Bible so they lead them to Christ. So we have a faith-inspired curriculum that we donate to all the ministries as well across the United States and around the world to lead our kids back to the Bible, right? The fundamental basics. So now 3rd grade and up, and I wanted to round it off, and I'm self-funding. And I went back to the drawing board and released an activity coloring book called Little Barrio. So I'm proud to say that over the last 2 decades, and I self-funded, I won't give you that number, but it's a big number, we have built a comprehensive, bilingual, non-generic, culturally relevant book series and program that resonates with the youth and promotes student achievement and academic achievement. And I'm proud to say that that book you're holding there and the other 2 books are now being used in over 25 countries around the world.
That's fantastic.
Can I ask a quick
Congratulations.
question?
Yeah,
Can I ask-
absolutely.
So when you're doing these books and reaching out to churches, from your background, how did the gangs feel about these books and what you're trying to take away? I mean, are you getting bad reaction?
That's a wonderful question, because they would say, you're going to get attacked and somebody's going to kill you because you're putting a dent in the gang recruitment. Great question. Polar opposite. I've met with the gangs here in Illinois, leaders, former and current gang leaders. I've met with those formerly incarcerated and those who have criminal records. They're telling me that this for them is public safety because nobody wants to bury their child and nobody wants their kid to go to prison. So I thought the same thing, that I should be afraid. They've embraced the whole idea of trying to save kids.
Wow. Because at the end of the day, that's the message. We all want to make sure that our communities are safe. The gangs see it differently than we do, but at the end of the day, that's their goal. They don't want to shoot. They don't want to get into war. They want to make sure their community is safe. They just have a different version of how to do it and who their enemy is.
Right.
Where we have the exact same side too, as ungang related citizens as well. We want to do that same side, make sure our community is safe. We just have a different way of going about it. This is absolutely fantastic that this is such a unifying message of accountability and then jumping into your community once you are whole so you can help somebody else get that way.
So one of the reasons that I wanted to run when I was asked, I didn't want to run initially. I said no, but after I warmed up to the idea, is that I wanted to be about prevention over intervention. Because once a kid has taken the drug or gotten the bullet in the head or put the needle in the arm, it's too late. So we keep talking about intervention. I want to talk about prevention. Let's fix the problem.
They say a lot of, I think the last study that I read was for every $1 spent in arts or after school programs or prevention, like you're saying, saves a good $5 to $6 in the criminal justice system.
Well, Sheriff Mendrick, as an example, who's running for governor, has the lowest recidivism rates in the entire country. He has the model. His recidivism is down. Nationally, it's 70 to 90%. He's at 15%.
And is that because of the community outreach as well?
It's because he's truly got a correctional facility at the jail that he's trying to make better humans. And in doing so, right, he puts good humans back into society, no longer liabilities on the taxpayers, becoming assets versus liabilities, therefore impacting the bottom line on our budget. And that's about billions of dollars that we're going to be talking about cutting and pasting and replicating across the state to help fix our deficit. That's one way.
Now, he's the sheriff out of DuPage County?
Yes.
Okay, because I've heard DuPage County, his program, they're doing education of trades, carpentry, electrician, HVAC. I've heard that a lot of gang members that have came out of DuPage County Correctional Facility actually had their gang tattoos removed. He has a setup into there.
Wow. He has tattoo removal.
He's turning it around. He's doing something that all presidents do is educate. Get him a high school diploma.
Yeah.
Get him into trades because we need tradespeople out there.
Right.
And it's just that dying industry.
Yeah.
But he's doing an amazing job.
So
with that.
he has a satellite office of College of DuPage. He has like a miniature College of DuPage in the jail. Wow. And they're teaching the trades. They're doing tattoo removals. They're getting their GEDs. So when they come out, they become productive and asset productive assets to society. Better humans is what he's cranking out.
It's rehabilitation over incarceration.
Yeah.
It should, and then prevention if you can even get to
Right.
to that first. So thank you, Doctor, for explaining your books and everything else like that. I really appreciate it, and good luck on your candidacy and your election.
Well, thank you. From your lips to God's ears.
Absolutely. That is Dr. Robert Renteria running for Lieutenant Governor with Sheriff James Mendrick for governor. When we come back, it wouldn't be Free Speech Friday without a game. So we decided we were going to play misattributed quotes, and we've got the author series coming on. Stick around. More Apolitical Talk Show coming up after this. To a political talk show here on WRMN. Don't forget, you can find the podcast out there in the world. It is, you guessed it, a political talk show. Yeah, that's it. Real easy. Go to your favorite podcasting platform. You can find us there. All 4 words, a political talk show. Other podcasts produced by WRMN. We've got Somebody Knows Something, which is the Elgin PD Cold Case podcast. We are already in planning of season 3. I think they're kicking around possibly doing the 1980s. So find that also in your favorite podcasting platform. We've got a few people sitting over here with us still. We've got Dr. Robert Renteria, and we've also got David T sitting over here. And then we got a caller. We got Jim from Aurora. Jim from Aurora, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me all right?
I got you loud and clear there, sir. What would you like to talk about?
Well, first of all, I want to thank your guests that were on, the attorney that's no longer there. I don't know if Cecilia's still there.
She's on her way back.
All right. Well, hello to Cecilia and David Tees.
Hello.
And to Dr. Robert Renteria. Because I'm very familiar with Dr. Renteria's work. If I may, I'd like to take a little focus, and I'm not putting down or lowering the importance of what the other folks may be running for, but in a position of running for lieutenant governor, I felt it was important for folks to know that I have personally run into people who have told me that their lives as gangbangers in Chicago would never have changed had they not run into his book From the Barrio to the Boardroom.
Wow.
It was a chance meeting, total stranger, and she shared with me that she and her at that time boyfriend, they both read the book. They got out of the gangs, they got married, they have a child, they both have a job, and they own a home. And
Wow.
she said without that, having read that book, her life would not have changed. I'm also aware of other situations. I won't go into the details, but I've run into probably 4 or 5 people who, unbeknownst to me, had said they read the book and it's made a huge impact. But one of the things I would like to share with the listeners that Dr. Renteria, having invested almost 20 years of his life, and thank you, Doctor, for serving in the military. I appreciate that. And, belated Happy Veterans Day, if that's what you say for veterans, but appreciate your service in the Army. I understand you were an elite soldier, which is even a little bit higher. But with that, I think it's important to know that what Dr. Renteria brings to the table, along with Jim Mendrick. Jim is running for the governor. Robert has been slated to run as lieutenant governor. They bring a combined 50 years of service.
Wow.
Neither one of them are politicians. They have been doing the work that's affected the public, affected the people in a positive way. And one of the things that I notice with a lot of the politicians, career politicians, those that are jumping into the ring, maybe for the first time, throwing the hat in the ring, When I get in, I'm going to do blah, 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 and they point out the problems that we all know about. I think there's a world of difference. I think your vote goes a lot further when you elect and vote for a candidate or candidates, this slate of Jim and Robert, of people that have done the work. They've got a record behind them. They're not stepping in cold feet and having to learn their way around. Jim Mendrick, if I may, fiscally very responsible, never been over budget. DuPage County, I think it's the second largest county in the state, an $80 million a year budget, has never been over. The recidivism rate that he's taken from somewhere between 75 and 80% down to 15% for people that come out of his correctional facility. And I'd like to touch on that real quickly.
Yeah.
Correctional facilities, the idea is to go in and maybe have some correction your behavior, correction in the way you look at, how you want to be when you come out. And Jim Mendrick has brought some of the colleges in the area. These fellows are coming out with GEDs and coming out with trades. They're going out, they're getting jobs, they're becoming taxpayers, contributing citizens to society. And I think that's what we would like all the correctional facilities to be. And I know that Jim's program has been looked at by people around the state, the other sheriffs and that. And I think there are people, well, I believe there are folks from around the country that have looked at what he's doing and want to model from that. But these two gentlemen truly are, they're people over politics. This is their mantra. The politics is getting old. We are in a very tumultuous time here in the state, certainly the country, and we need to bring common sense back into focus. And I really, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be drooling all over Dr. Renteria, but if I don't say it, I'm afraid people aren't going to hear about it. Because one of the things that I know about Dr. Renteria, he does not wave his flags and say, hey, look at me, this is what I've done. It's for those of us who know him, who've experienced what he's taught and that, to share what he brings to the table. And Cecilia, an awesome individual who I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, very dedicated to making a change in the world. Mm-hmm. And David Tees, I know David a little bit. Great guy. You've got some awesome people in the studio today. And I just hope people realize they have to get out and vote. Mm-hmm. This vote cycle is crucial. And in Kane County, it's really crucial unless we want to see the county go the way that New York City is going. Mm-hmm. And I mean that sincerely. There's a push on that people are spending like drunken sailors in that board. Not that these folks in the studios have much to do with that, but the listening audience, you have to get out and vote.
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
Your pockets are being cleaned out, and I'm just so appreciative of the opportunity here to be able to speak and share with you what I know about Dr. Renteria, and just to put my feelings, my humble opinion out there on your airwaves. So I want to thank you for that.
No, thank you, Jim. That's Jim from Aurora calling in. I really appreciate you saying that too, and that's part of why we do this show.
Thank you. To your point, Jim, thank you. I want to just add, here in Kane County, we have, when you add the Hispanics and the blacks and the others together, it's about 62+% minorities in Elgin, 38% other. So we need to reach out to beyond the 38%, right? We have to sit down with people, build those bridges, and break bread so we go red, if that's where you're going. And the same applies for Aurora, who is 58% minority and 42% other. So we have to get out of our comfort zone, right, and meet the people where they're at and realize that we're the same. And I want to add this, right? Being Hispanic, running for lieutenant governor, I was at an event speaking at a Reagan dinner, and I said, I have a question. I said, who here in the room loves the tacos? And everybody raised their hands. And I said, okay, on left, who here loves the margaritas? And everybody said, yes. I said, so I have an ask and some advice for you. Let's take a chapter out of the good book and follow the example of our Lord Jesus Christ, and let's go out there and start loving on the people. Amen.
That's fantastic right there. Hey, Jim, thanks for listening and thanks for your thoughts. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, God bless everyone. Have a wonderful holiday season, a happy Thanksgiving, and a phenomenal Christmas season.
You too. I hope
Amen.
you call in
Thank you, Jim.
again.
Thank you.
Too.
847-931-1410. That's the one to get in there. We are going to get into our game. I'm just going to take a quick break so we can reset everything. We'll be right back right after this.
Thank you.
Welcome back to a political talk show here on WRMN. WRMN 1410. That should already be saved on your dial. Just reach over. It's okay. You see some buttons. It's right under the clock. They say 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 10. You just reach over. No, still hold on to the steering wheel. You just reach over and you hold down one of those. And boom, WRMN is programmed in. That's the original like button. I don't know if you remember that. So if you want to go into it, you preset, you heard a good station, and WRMN is the greatest here in the Fox River Valley. So great that these fine people decided to stick around with us for the Free Speech Friday panel. That, of course, is Dr. Robert Renteria. We've also got Cecilia Brooks and David Tees, and it wouldn't be a Free Speech Friday without the Free Speech Friday game. Yeah, I guess that's what they do now is they push those buttons.
Is that like echo?
There. I guess, yeah, it's a little echo that's in there. I didn't have to show anybody that. They just started mashing buttons until they found it. So they let it in, but this is it, the Free Speech Friday game. And because we have a great author with us, Dr. Renteria, you can find all of his books at fromthebarrio.com. Books for you if you are interested in memoirs, books for the youth, not only curriculum style, but an amazing full comic book that's here. And then what I love about it is you left them blank so we can color them ourselves. That's even better, especially the one that you have for the little barrio as well. Great coloring book that's in there, teaching some fantastic accountability and community growth. Thank you for writing those, sir.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So let's play our game. We're going to play Misquote. I'm going to give you two quotes. You are going to tell me which one was the quote from this person. And because we've got a great author here, I pulled some quotes from some other great authors. This is a game. You guys can work together. The only thing I ask is don't use the internet. I've got it over here. It's on my team.
Oh, okay.
So here we go. The first one is from William Shakespeare. So which one is a quote? The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Or the stars write the fate of every man. Which one is a William Shakespeare quote?
First one.
I'm going one.
We're going one. Doctor, number one, it is unanimously wrong. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. No, you're
Followed
right.
me down that hole.
Shakespeare wasn't a man of theology.
I am wrong. You are unanimously right.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. You are right. That is from Brutus is from, you got this, Doc? Julius Caesar. That's right. Julius Caesar, Act 1, Scene 3, spoken by Cassius to Brutus at the time. I thought they were friends, but so does Brutus. So here we go. Jane Austen liked to write some things, including Pride and Prejudice, where one of these quotes comes from. It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do, or happiness in marriage is entirely a matter of choice.
2.
First one.
We got a 1, we got a 2. Doc, what do you got?
Being single, I want to go with 1.
It is B. Happiness in marriage is entirely a matter of
Okay,
choice.
so my disclaimer, I am single, so I would not know. Okay.
I'm married, so yeah, that's why I went with that, so I don't get in trouble.
Doc, that first one to you, Doc, seems a lot more like a quote you would say. It isn't what
Yes.
we say or think that defines us, it's what we do.
That sounds like a Dr. Renteria quote.
It does. It does. You know what? You gentlemen have to put yourselves in the shoes of Miss Austin.
That's right. Well,
Back in the day.
let's travel still in time, not by much, but didn't make it to the 1900s. We've got Charles Dickens. This is from A Tale of Two Cities, and one of them isn't. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Or every dream begins in darkness. Which one do we have? We got number 2.
Number 2. I'll take 2.
I gotta go 1.
We got 1.
Contrary.
Number 2 sounds like me.
Number 2 sounds. We're getting quotes for the Doc. Charles Dickens said it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. That is the opening to The Tale of Two Cities, written in 1859, long time ago. Here's one that we've all surely read. George Orwell. George Orwell. This is in the 1984 book that he wrote in 1949. This is one of these quotes are from there. Either number 1, freedom is the right to say that 2 + 2 makes 4, or truth is whatever the people believe.
Now, this is a correct
Number
quote.
2.
This is a direct quote from 1984, the book written in 1949 by George Orwell.
I'd have to say 2.
We got 2. The truth is whatever the people believe. The other option is freedom is the right to say that 2 + 2 make 4.
I said 2.
So it's 2 on that one, 2 on that one.
Well, due to politics, I have to say number 2.
Number 2. Oh, sorry. Freedom is the right to say that 2 + 2 makes 4. The entire
Should've known
premise
that.
of 1984 is that the party has taken over and they tell you that 2 + 2 is 5. And to counteract
known
that,
Great question.
they say freedom is the right to say that 2 + 2 make 4.
I would rather die free than live in chains.
Ooh, there you go. We have nothing to lose but our chains, but don't call me a Marxist. Anyway, let's go to Ernest Hemingway, who wrote A Farewell to Arms in 1929. One of these quotes is from that. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are strong at the broken places, or courage is being afraid and doing it anyway. This quote comes from Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. What have we got, team? I'll read them to you again.
You read my mind.
The first one is, the world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are strong at the broken places. Or, courage is being afraid and doing it anyway. This is from Ernest Hemingway. Which one do we
The
got?
first one just sounds like something he would say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Really
it really
flowery,
does. But you get tricky
absolutely.
once in a while here. But I'm just going to go out there and say 1.
What book is this?
This is from A Farewell to Arms, 1929.
2.
Got a 2. We got a 1 and a 2. Doc, tiebreaker?
You know, both of those quotes would fit in my books. But, but you know, I want to follow and tag team with Cecilia.
There it is. It is 1. David T's guts were right. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are strong at the broken places. We've got one more to get through. This is from another famous author. Don't let where you came from dictate who you are, but let it be part of who you become. or science without consequence is ruin to the soul. Which one was that, Doc?
Well, I have to follow my passion and my purpose, and I happen to know the author personally very well, so I have to go with number 1.
That's right. Don't let where you came from dictate who you are. Dr. Renteria, thank you very much for being
Thank
here.
you.
He is running for Lieutenant Governor of Illinois with Sheriff James Mendrick for governor. Find more at Mendrick for Governor 2026. Thank you, Cecilia Brooks, for being here. Thank you,
Thank you
David
for
Tees.
having
Thank you.
Hi, Brendan.
And don't forget to listen to me tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Fantasy Football Blitz begins right there. My goodness, that's too much alliteration for
I know, it is.
please.
Bless you all.